It's 10:36, hella bottles in the mix with some Magic City models belly dancing on they. We got the parking lot, pouring shots of Bacardi to the top. Yeah, we call it a masala block party. Put up with a Bollywood ting. She looking like a Bollywood queen. Now bust it like a Bollywood scene. And let me see it, Bollywood swing. It's 10:36, hella bottles in the mix with some Magic City models belly dancing on their whips. Big body trunk shaking jumps out the pavement. That's an understatement. Really, you can hear us out of fibs. Drip to them ankles, baby, shake it like some bagels till you make them throw them sangles. Girl, you know we getting rich. Cadillac jumping, doing donuts like Duncan. Y'all see your man's hitting till that nigga smoke something. Parking lot pimp, can you dig it, little shouter? We gon' bring it to the streets, going crazy. Everybody saying. Mad bricks webcast, where the human spirit flies. Where AI and quantum minds converge. Medicine transcends and possibilities surge. A dreamland opens where healing flows free. Every human touched pain vanish, hell for all to see. So hear the stories. Let your curiosity rise.
Mad Bricks webcast,
Where the human spirit flies. Mad Bricks webcast, where the human spirit flies.
Hey, welcome to the Manbix webcast. This is Ramana. I'm the host. Happy Sankranti, happy Bogi in India. There's a huge function going on in my state, Andhra Pradesh. It is one of the biggest functions in the religious function. It's not a religious, cultural function, more or less. There is a lot of gambling, drinking, probably all kinds of things going on. It is a festive atmosphere in my region of India. Most of the India celebrates. They have different names on it. In Punjabis, in Punjab, people say Lahiri festival, Lodi festival they call, and then in India, my side of this region, they call Sankranti. Happy Sankranti is a. When I was a kid, I used to from village. I told you, in my village that all the people used to come down and come down. My family come and visit me. But anyway, before I talk a lot more about it, let me bring my co-host. She's not a big. She's thin and tall, beautiful and brainy. Dr. Susan Davis. Let me bring her to the table. Yeah, Susan, how are you?
I'm fabulous, Ramana.
Yeah. So how is it? You had a long trip. You're going through. Oh my God! You went to Cleveland. You went to a lot of places, right?
Yes, I've been on the road since Christmas, and I just got home last night, so it's very.
Tell me your journey to. We have a lot of time. Our guest is today. There is a storm in Philadelphia, and she could not able to join with us. So you and me, we need to talk and present something.
Okay. Well, that's a shame. I was really looking forward to speaking to her. Hopefully, we'll be able to reschedule. She's amazing.
Yes. So go ahead and tell me your journeys.
Before we go on, I want to go back to the festival in your home city. So tell me, what was the name of that again?
It's called Sankranti. Sankranti. Sankranti is a festival. It's basically this is a festival that all the crops are done and people sell their things and become a little bit of a cash flow is going on in the beginning of the year. So this is a festival atmosphere for all of us. It's a huge, and then they do a lot of what do you call, they do with like fires all over the place. It's not this kind of fire. They, like the man-made fires.
Fireworks. Fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks, not fireworks.
Oh
Fires.
no.
It's
Oh,
just yeah, fires, and they do, just the people, families get together, and it's a family gathering, a big family gathering. The whole family from all over the country, people working in call centers and people working in the technology in different places. They come to their village this time. This is the only time they come to their village. Definitely 99%, unless there is a serious problem, they come to this function.
that's
Um,
wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful.
so
Well, thank you.
everybody is at home, and so Navia is absent because one of the reason was Navia is celebrating same thing, same town, so she is also off, and it is a big functions going on, So
I wonder if they're cooking that my new favorite curry in the Hawaii world. The one I
yeah,
was
they cook a lot actually. That is, this is like a huge Andhra chicken curry, if you can imagine,
Andhra
because
curry chicken. My
yeah,
new favorite on the planet. So hard to find, and I bet they're cooking it all over the place
because
today.
they have a lot of these cockfights and all those kind of fights, and it is a mess. It is all kinds of
Sounds
strange
wonderful.
kind of things goes on, but a lot of gambling, a lot of drinking, a lot of partying. Some people who drink a lot would drink a lot. Who don't drink, don't drink. But it is a festive atmosphere. And then the most important I remember is in this place is that when I was a kid, is my most memorable thing is that they decorate entire street with paintings. They do entire streets, and then in the houses they paint and they hang the flowers, and it is a very festive atmosphere. And then there is a lot of these spiritual stuff, and there is a lot of people who talk about, who come down there as a sadhus, like monks, and they come walk around. It is a very, very different world. I mean, different atmosphere and different world itself.
Well,
So
it sounds wonderful. It's too bad we're not
yeah,
there.
it is a very kind of spiritual and fun and drinking same time. you know. So so tell me your journeys through all these cities. Cincinnati, San Antonio. You went through. I've been to
So
all those cities. I've been to Cincinnati one time. My cousin lives there, still lives there. My Abhi, they remember the doctor, that
yes,
nephew.
yes,
He's from that Cincinnati originally from. Yeah,
he is. He's the one that's in the long-term care, right?
correct,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, well, some work, some pleasure. I started up in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. After Christmas, I took a week and got snowed in. We were off the grid, and then we were off the grid. My mother and I were literally snowed in. We experienced what they call a bomb cyclone blizzard. So we were already off grid, no electricity, no running water, the whole 9 yards. And so I got stuck there for longer than anticipated. So no internet, no phone, my phone, nothing works out there. So 5 days snowed and we had to get plowed out. So that was really cool. And then I was home back to Florida for just 2 days before I went to Cincinnati. So Cincinnati was work. Cincinnati was amazing. So we did train Bon Secours Mercy Health in my signature program, the Reaction Ready. So we trained the imaging team. So non-invasive cardiology on all 6 campuses in Cincinnati. It was our second trip. So we did three acute care campuses in November, and we did 3 more just last week. So that was very amazing. I mean, I love what I do, and because it works. So that was
So
an
you
amazing
teach,
trip.
you go to small rural towns and train the people there. The training program. That's what you do there,
Well,
or
I don't know if they call Cincinnati rural, small and rural.
yeah, it's not a rural. Yeah,
Not
it's
so
not
much.
a big.
I go, it doesn't matter where they are. They could be, big cities, small cities, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so what we do is we go in and we do readiness training for emergencies. I mean, primarily cardiovascular emergencies, but emergencies and emergency. If you can't breathe or your heart's not working, it all turns out the same. So, anaphylaxis to arrest, 5 minutes or less. What does that look like, Ramana? And I think people, the amount of contrast media and imaging is going up in our actually around the world, not just the United
Yes.
States. So there's
Big time.
multi-millions of, hundreds of millions of dosages, whether it's CT, MR, or echo. The usage goes up, and if you look at the scope of practice of the people who are in that space, they're limited, and like every other area of healthcare, they're dealing with shortages. So
I
who's
used
there?
to run an imaging center, but we didn't have a contrast agents, because we could not able to do contrast agents in my village, my center, because we need a physician or a cash card and all those things. We didn't do. We did all the non-invasive. Now we are doing a contrast agents to get a better images. That's where things go a little bit complex.
They can anyway. And then, it's one thing if you're on an acute care campus and we have rapid response teams and code blue teams within the hospital, within the healthcare system. But oftentimes those areas, remote in the hospital. So any area of a hospital that's not in a main thoroughfare, it can have delays in response times. So we work on those mini emergency response plans within every different area. So I don't just work in imaging. This just happens to be what they wanted was their imaging areas. But most people don't even know where. Let's just say like a sleep study. Like, if there's a problem in sleep study, where the heck is sleep study? Where is non-invasive cardiology in an acute care campus? And if it's not practiced and drilled in a normal code blue practicing, then there's delays. So anyway, that's awesome. We do that. But let's just go ahead and throw in there how much of our work these days is moving out of the acute care and into remote areas, off-site, off-patient. And we have remote radiologists and we have remote techs. So my question is, who's
Even
there?
remote tech, and that's surprising to me. Yeah.
Remote techs. So like, who's there with the patient? And they have to call 911. So it's just my focus. I make sure that they know what to do, regardless of what the equipment is they have. So this is something you and I talk about a lot. We teach them to recognize the problem, call for help, and act. What does that look like in a real practical way? We get very carried away. I think I wouldn't say carried away, but a lot of people get caught up in the algorithms of basic, advanced, and pediatric life support, where they get so worried that they don't know that just rote. And so healthcare workers, regardless of their licensure, they'd rather die themselves than, get in the way or do it wrong. So
But the most important part is, Susan, a lot of times under the pressure, administering that procedure is the problem. Is not they may do with only relaxed atmosphere, but when you are under pressure, people like me, I go freak out and I do all kinds of things, nonsense. So I think that is where the training really plays a critical role in that sense, right?
Well, it's true. I mean, fight, flight, or freeze. I mean, and you don't even never know. And when your own your brain chemistry decides to dump within your system, it's made to prepare you for an emergency. Run from the lion, but ultimately it can have an opposite effect. I think people don't realize, even like when you go to like smash on the brakes because you think you're going to hit the car ahead of you. You can feel that flush, of your own chemistry reacting so quickly. And when someone's trying to die in front of you, that either helps you or hinders you. And if you don't practice, it tends to hinder more than help most people. So the only way around it is brief, hands-on, repetitive practice, and very specifically with your team, your exact equipment, and in your exact space. So the next trip, I went from Cincinnati straight to where the heck was I? San Antonio for the International Healthcare Simulation Conference, which was amazing.
I love simulations.
Oh, you should have seen some of the technology out there. I mean, just off the charts amazing, AI and simulation, what it's doing and vice versa, and just some stuff. But I continue to hold my ground for the basics. I just continue to hold my ground for the basics because, that simulation is phenomenal, but so often we breeze through the basics with the assumption that everyone's got this. And quite frankly, they don't. So that's what I do. And so I went straight from Cincinnati to San Antonio so that I could learn the who's who and the what's what with new healthcare simulation that's available for healthcare systems. And now back here to you.
So how much simulations help people practicing on simulations are good? Do you where is your training helps the simulations? I use simulations to teach them all kinds of scenarios. where the things go bad and all those things?
It's awesome. All simulation is good simulation. I mean, there's obviously there can be bad ones if you don't plan simulation and there's education simulation now. Some of the people there are just rock stars and off the charts amazing, from stem to stern, from planning the simulations, from planning the scenarios, the objectives, and the actual implementation of the scenarios. They can do anything. There was an open abdomen surgery happening on the floor there. The whole thing. I mean, we've got bowel coming out, they're scrubbed, and the whole thing is a simulation.
Yeah,
There's women pushing babies out on the floor there, all simulated. I mean,
really.
think of the maternal numbers in our country and around the world. I mean, I think the numbers, it's like 75% of maternal deaths in the United States are from maternal hemorrhage. So I mean, we're doing something wrong, and we need practice. So all simulation is good simulation. And some facilities are blessed with gazillion-dollar sim labs that have all the bells and whistles. And the majority of healthcare systems don't have a sim lab at all. But simulation, if you think about it, Ramana, it really just means let's practice. Let's practice where we're safe, and not on patients. So you can be creative with what you have, which is what I do. My drills that we do, I use very low. I use the cheapest, the most minimalist, equipment. And I'm firm on using exactly what they're going to use in their environment. We can simulate just about everything anymore. But for me, what they learn in the sim lab is not a home run. It might get you around the bases, but the home run is when we can clinically verify what they've learned in their simulations.
Yeah.
That's
All
the best.
this technology comes next. First, you need to use what is available things there and administer that aspect. People like in my village, my father did that. It's very important. You don't need to wait for a big simulation or big equipment waiting for you there. It may not be there. So you have to administer whatever is available to save lives, right?
Yeah, and it's gosh, I'll tell you, when I'm doing, for instance, I've been going into so many healthcare systems these days, and you would be so surprised the variation in their emergency equipment. We are so resource heavy in this country, and we still complain about what we have. And compared to when I'm studying now, global resuscitation. I have studied in both my my graduate work. I studied in hospital cardiac arrest response around the world. But I didn't focus so much on low and middle income countries. I didn't realize at the time, but most of the research is coming from higher resource areas. So now I'm changing my gears all these years later into these lower and middle income countries, and what do they have, and how are we going to optimize their survival? So it's my whole new pivot right now. I'm onto this global.
Yeah, in the low income countries, one thing they learned, they practiced it very well with the existing small number of resources, how to use, maximum utilize. Here is existing resources not available. I mean, they are under the layers of bureaucracy laying down there. That's what I was talking with the Dr. Robert Pearl. I spoke with him yesterday, how that pharmacy benefit manager, drug manufacturer, then insurance companies, and then health plans and the networks and the providers and doctors and patients, all of them retailers, all of them are, this is a ecosystem, became a complex sometimes. So
It's
that in the complex, they hide certain things. Is not opaque it's opaque to the people, and we don't know the transparency. That is a challenging, even though everything is available, the patients are not happy because of one of the reasons is access is that's why I created in my next chapter is the human care capacity, healing capacity. How do you use that constraint, use all the things that you have, and you don't have certain things, still, how can you function and produce a healing capacity from that within that parameters?
well,
That is a mathematical expression I came up with. I remember I spoke with you a little bit
oh,
about
it's phenomenal. So I can't wait and for our listeners to learn more about that formula, because the formula is absolutely brilliant. And it's amazing how the components to that formula, and how if any one of them, and the beauty of each and every one of them is their constants.
Yeah.
It's a constant, and they're non-negotiable. So if
Non-negotiable.
any one of them is zero, the whole deal is zero.
The whole
And
deal
it's
is zero. Yeah.
extremely dramatic. So when you bring that formula out into the public more, Ramana, I think the whole world is going to be able to very clearly see how ridiculous we are with all of the resources we actually do have available, and how we have to just, do some sifting and
Yeah.
have to do some repositioning, and we need to kind of hush up a little bit and get back to the basics, the non-negotiables. I mean, there's areas in our country that when you call 911, there isn't anybody to answer. There's places in the north and northwest, very rural areas where, I mean, here we call 911, and our 911 people here are rock stars. I mean, it goes straight to medical, and from medical straight to, it goes to the police and then to the medical. And then within moments, they have AI support, and they can tell whether it's a cardiac arrest or not. And some people are in Canada, and some places here, they have drones coming with an AED. There's so much technology. And then in our very own country of pregnant women and mothers delivering babies that are hemorrhaged to death, and people who aren't there's nobody to pay to answer the phone for 911. Now you go out of our country, we don't realize that there's ambulance service doesn't exist in many parts of the world, and so many people are having many, many, many problems that if they had what we had, they could do a lot more with what it. So I don't know. The equity and access is a big deal.
So when I was selling equipment and all those things, one thing I always told them, it's not equipment. You need the training, you need the reimbursement structure. How do you get paid, and what are the limitations on the reimbursement structure? The entire gamut of workflow has to be there. If it is not there, suppose you are doing an imaging ultrasound or mammogram or a CT scan, you have to send it to the radiologist. The radiologist has to report and come back in time. All these things has to be coordinated. It's like choreography. You talk about ICU. We have to do the same thing in every industry. That is required. We don't do that. That is a bigger problem. Just you buy these silos and I remember in the beginning days we bought a lot of hospitals bought a CT scans from China. They don't know how to operate. They don't. They and then India also bought them, but they realized that they don't work. American CT scanners don't work in India because there's a lot of dust. There is a dirt goes around there and it stopped giving the problems. So these are all things. These are too much hard. All those things you have to understand the local atmosphere, local things, and then come back to the solutions. That is missing in a lot of times. That is a problem in general. So that constraints come in the picture. What are the constraints that human constraints are there that my formula can beautifully demonstrate and tell you what that works or not?
Anyone can dump off a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the equipment is, and training can't be a one and done with pieces of equipment like that. I mean, not only do you have to train the teams that are there, but it has to be ongoing, because
it has to be ongoing training. Yeah.
Anyone got into a healthcare system recently?
Yeah.
I mean, the turnover is massive, and when people don't know how to work the equipment, and then I'm not going to get into all the stuff that you guys, and Dr. Pearl talked about last night with what we're being charged for what we're getting and so on and so forth. But in my world, let's just use defibrillators. I mean,
there's so many kinds, right?
There's so many kinds. I go into healthcare systems that have 2, 3, 4 different kinds within the one hospital. They have 4 different kinds.
And they get totally confusion. It's total confusion.
Well, and then there's new models and there's old models, and then there's different kinds of pads. I mean, and pad placement, and some people are like, there's physicians that want to use the paddles. And then most people are like, the paddles? What would you use the paddles for? And I'm like, okay, well, I hate to break it to you, but not everybody can afford $150 sets of pads, the fancy pads. Yeah. You go outside of the United States and there's not a lot of fancy pads. Within the United States, there's people who don't use the fancy pads. So there's different pads out in the community. When we're going to use an AED, there's different pads. There's pads that are connected in a Z shape. There's pads that are separate. Where do the pads go, Ramana?
Yeah.
Does anyone know where to put the pads? I mean, so
where they go? Yeah, that's a bigger challenge actually. Yeah. Those are the constraints that I do. People don't understand those constraints clearly defined by what those are constraints. Otherwise, it doesn't produce the healing capacity. It just becomes a zero. Any one of them missing is zero. That if any one of them is missing or lost in that whole process, it becomes a zero. So we need to have a fundamental principles. You need to be redefined. I was telling Dr. Pearl yesterday, we need to have a non-negotiating principle. Some of them are. Then the healthcare system works. Why it is broken? Because we don't have a non-negotiating principle. Everybody has their own way of thinking, doing things. It's just no standardization, all this process. But anyway,
before you change gears, I'd like to say that just one component of your equation is trust.
Yeah, I did the trust in it. Yeah, I put the
so
trust.
remember what we said just a few minutes ago. If any one of the components of the equation is a zero, the whole thing is a zero. So I'm just going to throw that in there for a little teaser.
And also the strange part is about the trust is that we can quantify, we can mathematically, a formula can come back with the trust part. So we have a that's where I come in the picture, where I put together we put together through the process a trust factor, how it works through mathematics. It is just a beautiful the way it translates. The trust has to translate to the patient, otherwise it doesn't work. That's what it is. But anyway, your beautiful journey is all over the place. You're Michigan, you're Cincinnati, and San Antonio, back to Fort Myers, Florida, right? Yeah, now back to the world. Uh, I I went to the yesterday, day for yesterday, I went to China Silicon Valley conference, a small mini conference. In this one, I'm surprised how many, these are all things coming up, and I'm so excited. The technology is leaps and bounds moving in China also. They are producing a new kind of a technology they're producing, and the new way of thinking, and everybody all over the world, healthcare is becoming a central stage and taking a central stage because in China, people are getting older. There's a lot more older people there. There's not much assistance there. So they're thinking about all those things. We have to do the same thing here, much more. We have to make it make it work for everybody. That's one. I'm going to talk. So when I come back, we can talk about Kamala Madali. Sorry that she could not able to make it. She is a AI expert, and then she is a DVM. She's also took care of pets. She is a doctor of veterinary medicine, but she could not able to do things, and she's going through a personal, also on the top of it in the winter time, personal, things that she was talking about on her book. Making Kamala.
Ramana, that was my background. I was looking forward to talking to her about that. I'm not sure if you know that, but I was first year in veterinary medicine, and then I ended up, changing
Oh, that's
life.
I have a zero background in it. So
yeah, so I was at University of Illinois and studying large animal medicine. So I loved it. So I was curious about her background. And if anyone doesn't know who she is, I got to tell you what, you should go on her profile and read through. I was mind blown by some of the innovation and the people that she's connected to. I thought I was, fairly close to getting cutting edge, but no, I've never scratched the surface until some of her connections are unreal.
Yes, she had a lot of connections.
Yes. A little talking. I did.
Yeah. So, but yesterday, star of the system, Dr. Robert Pearl was there, and he shed a great light. So, but I want to bring something that I'm going to talk about a little bit, and very quick one, and then talk about that, little bit about I want to talk about quantum physics. When I was selling computers to the doctors, in 1980s, people used to laugh at me, what the computers are going to do in the doctor's office. Then now I talk about quantum physics is coming to the doctor's office. They laugh at me, but wait, they're not going to laugh at me when the things are coming slowly. How the quantum physics is affecting our bodies and mind and all those things. I'm going to present that topic a little bit, and then we will see that. And then where is that? Dead Wikimedia. Yeah, I'm going to bring that to the. So she's not here, so not this one. I got the wrong one. Just hold on 1 second. And seen media, next one, I think. Yeah, three slides. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is one. Let me, so she's not there. Sorry about that. So we have a very, let me bring Susan to the next door. And yeah, maybe, yeah. Susan, so we have a Dr. Hamilton, Mr. Hamilton came in, Executive Vice President of Kaiser Permanente. Yesterday we have former CEO of Kaiser Permanente is there. So tomorrow I'm really excited about it. I want to tell you about that. He is Associate Professor Bobby Kasturi. He is a he did a pioneering research in the brain and mind. Pioneering research. He is a forefront of what is the mind, what is the brain, how it brain works, what are the things works in the brain. It is a fascinating to listen to. He was on, he appeared on the PBS, so I'm waiting for him. Just I'm truly excited about his presence tomorrow. But before that, let me present to the my topic. It is a quantum biology a little bit. Yeah, I'm quantum. What is a quantum physics in the human body? How is there any? We never thought the humans have the quantum. We can exhibit a quantum behavior inside or outside. We never thought that as a brain is. Quantum behaviors work in the very microscopic scale and the lowest temperatures. It has to be close to the almost Kelvin temperature, which is minus 273 degrees. Close to that, you see the quantum behaviors. But he never expected these warm temperatures and the warm bodies like us, and then they in a big macroscopic systems like that. But he found a way of finding subway system, a shortcut. The body found how to use quantum physics in the inside the body. That's what I'm going to do. Talk about quantum side and quantum principles. Okay, I'm going to do quantum. So, what are the two principles of quantum? I always talk about this, but you just keep talking about it. These are the two principles you got to remember. It is the important ones. Whenever people say quantum, these are the two things I want you to remember. Is that if there is, you can jump in anytime, Susan. You can comment, jump, anything.
Okay.
So if there is a cheese in the maze at the end, what is the mouse do? It keep going and keep trying until it hits the wall, come back and keep trying, keep trying. It remembers the past path. It doesn't repeat the same path again. It has some neurons. It remembers the new paths. So it keep on trying, until it reaches the
Cheese.
maze, cheese. But in the quantum side, something extraordinary happens. What it does is it takes all possible paths. So this mouse splits into quantum ghosts. It tries all possible paths same time. So it will come back to the real path, which is the shortest path to the cheese. Then that will fix it and it will go away. That is a broad explanation of quantum physics. To teach doctors and other people.
I get it. We get it.
I
It's a
don't
good
want to
one.
do a lot of mathematics, but that's the best way. So the mouse can reach the quantum physics, reduces the computational methods, or when it does that kind of computations, it is that what his mouse is doing a computation basically, but he's doing a all parallel processing, but it's not the parallel processing the way you imagine in the parallel universes. They're all in different universe. You don't
Which is
even
why
know
I'm
which.
curious, because usually when we talk about our senses, sight, smell, touch, we're talking about a finite experience, and quantum is not finite, it's infinite. So I'm curious as
Correct.
you're going with this.
Correct. And so,
So
the universe, we don't have even access to that universe. It goes into that universe and then becomes split into several universes. And then that's one of the the IBM chip and the Google chips, new ones. Now quantum computers are coming up. They're actually doing the actual work, that part. Okay, prime number solution of the prime numbers solutions. Some of those things that cryptography, all those things, they use this kind of a quantum physics. So that is one of the things. How it works is a very mysterious and very counterintuitive way it does. The second one is tunnels through the low energy to high energy. Water goes from top to bottom. You never see bottom to the top, right? It doesn't flow from the bottom to the top. But in this sense, in the quantum physics world, it goes from the bottom to the top. The electrons go through the walls just like there is nothing exists. Even though small chances, it goes through a quantum tunneling. It does through a lower energy, goes to the higher energy. Usually higher energy goes to the lower energy, transmits the energy, goes from high to low. But here in this case, low to go to higher energy. That's a very counterintuitive idea. So cold, though heat transfer from heat to cold place. But have you ever seen cold going backwards to the heat? You don't see that. That's what it does. So, what is that? What is the quantum? Let us talk about eyesight. What is the problem with eyesight and eyes a little bit. I say the photoelectric effect is based on Einstein. Albert Einstein won the Nobel Prize for this effect. Is not all E equal to mc square. He did not win the Nobel Prize for that. He won the Nobel Prize for this. What is the solar energy battery? Basically, when sunlight falls on the plate, it becomes electrical charge and it knocks out electrons and it become electrons flow and then creates electrical energy. So he converts the solar power to electrical power. That's what he invented, what he came up with. That what he won the Nobel Prize for. Albert Einstein, but how many panels you need, how many billions of photons you need for that battery to operate? Billions of photons you need, billions of light rays you need to convert them into the solar battery. Our eye, on the other hand, works extraordinarily sensitive. Our eye can detect one single photon. Can you believe that? Our eye has a capacity to detect single photon in certain situations. That's an amazing.
Yeah.
Single photon it can detect. Eye is single photon. Eye is for a more efficient. Eye is a way efficient than solar battery. That is a problem. Why eye is more efficient than solar batteries? That problem is a bigger problem in science. So they wanted to solve that. Some came up with the solution. What the solution is? There is something quantum going on there. What is quantum going on there? When the photon hits the retina, there is a molecule there, it flips. It flips in a femtoseconds. It flips and activate the energy to go to it will release all the chemical energy and then goes to the visual cortex. So to flip that molecule, cis shape to trans shape, it flipping the rhodospin, it flips that when the photon hits that cell, immediately it flips it. It flips into it activates the energy. That process is a quantum process. There is no way, there is no thermal, no electrical, no other way you can explain that. It is a femtoseconds. It does in a most efficient manner. Just time is not a factor. It just goes is in instant kind of a thing. That is not possible in the classical physics. So quantum transition happens. That's what the people believe now. There are more and more people believing this kind of things happening in the body itself. So body found out the way do this quantum transition. So eyes work very efficient way. So that is a big power. This second thing is, that the smell itself. Regular musk, you see the musk, sweet and clean. I can change the chemical. I don't change any chemical property. Deuterated musk is like adding an additional ion. It doesn't change the chemical property. They're identical, exactly identical. You cannot tell the difference chemically between these two musks, deuterated musk and a regular musk. But our nose can smell, our smells can differently can find out what's going on, what goes the difference between them. One is a deep burn, the other is a sweet clean. That is a problem. We cannot explain why that smell we can differentiate. So, like Northern Italian wines to Southern Italian wines, you can differentiate. The reason was there is only 400 receptors, genes in the ours to smell. We can, with the combinations or so, we can do 10,000 smells, but we can smell 10,000, trillions, almost millions of smells we can do because they're using a frequency. Susan talks about frequency all the times. These molecular vibrations from the quantum vibrations from the molecule of the receptor, the musk molecule comes there, and they knows that vibrations that match the vibrations, resonance vibration. It makes the exact frequency, it comes there, and that becomes that. So, by how many frequencies are there? Infinite number of frequencies you can use. So, you can smell millions of smells. It's not a problem at all. So, nature found a way to find the system. You can, that is one of the greatest wonders of the, that is the one thing that does. Then another one is a breathing, quantum breathing. Cells produce carbon dioxide. These things Susan knows more than I do. Carbon dioxide needs to be removed fast because the exhale, we have to do exhale faster. CO2 dissolves slowly in the blood and water. It doesn't dissolve that fast. So CO2 build up in the blood. What happens in the blood if it's CO2 build up in the blood? It becomes acidic and shuts down organs. People die not because of lack of oxygen. It is a build of. Actually, they die because of the poisonous blood. It becomes a organ shutdown because the pH value went up. It become acidic, completely out of control. So that is a problem. Actually that is a blood becomes, we cannot pump it out carbon dioxide. So body found a way to solve the problem. How did it solve the problem? Judith Klingman, she's from UC Berkeley, won the prize for this special prize. She won a lot of medals. Enzyme quantum tunneling. What it does is a breathing enzyme, carbonic anhydrase, acts like a speed booster. It's what it does is it is a quantum moving carbon dioxide 1,000 times faster. If it is a classical way, if it doesn't have this quantum phenomena, is only 0.1 per second. It does, but with the quantum phenomena, it can push it out 100,000 per second. The carbon dioxide will goes away from the. How does it do it? So tiny particles, protons, electrons, can quantum tunnel, slipping through barriers instead of climbing over them. So it will open the doors for this carbon dioxide to pump to the lungs faster and cleaner. It's like a automatic doors open before you even touch it. It opens the doors, goes all the way to the trapped carbon dioxide, goes to the lungs and exhale there. So body recognizes something extraordinary. So this is actually proven in a sense. So it is a quantum. Our breathing itself is a quantum in nature. So that's why the that's why you say that a lot of people say breathe hard. Breathing is a powerful technique because it reduces the pH value and you become that's a powerful way of getting rid of toxins. Carbon dioxide goes away. So that is a Tillman did that. So the biggest challenge now is the consciousness, the problem of mind. That is, so we got We got the lungs, how to breathe, through the sight, sound, smell. Now let us talk about the problem of consciousness. Why we have an inner experience? Why I like why I like roses red? I feel roses are red. Why I like Susan? Why I don't like somebody? What are these things in the mind is create an inner experience? What, why do AI doesn't have inner experience? Still, it is smart, as smart as us, or maybe more smarter than us. So, what is the difference? Why we have this inner experience? That is called hard problem of consciousness. This is the biggest problem of humanity can face. This is scientists bothered by every scientist is bothered by this problem. It is called brain and mind problem. You know why we have this inner experience, love, loving mother, loving somebody. Why do we need? We can execute all these things through logical steps, computational methods. You can do that. So this problem is a serious problem in physics and mathematics and everywhere. It is a bigger problem. How do you solve this? There's not. I don't know whether it's solve it or not, but some of the explanations are good. One of them is anesthesiologist Todd Hameroff and physicist Sir Roger Penrose from Oxford came up with this some idea. One of the ideas is that the brain, everything is actually all all like a matrix almost here outside world. This matrix world we are in, there is all patterns that's all exist. There's like a, I'm including a little bit David Bohm and Jiddu Krishnamurti. I'll explain to you a little bit about that. We'll ask tomorrow the guest also. So the orchestrated objective reduction is this kind of a quantum wave. The quantum nature outside exists, only quantum physics exists. There's no other things exist. The reality is the illusion. What they said that is when it comes to our brain, that in the neurons there's a microtubules who transport all the nutrients and everything. These microtubules, they collapse the wave function, they collapse the wave. The wave function is collapsed in the brain. That makes it real, like particles and me and you, we all feel that. It is in the brain. There is nobody there existing outside of you, probably. So orchestrated objective reduction is that brain creating all these illusions of there is exists something.
When you're talking reduction for particle from wave.
Wave to particle is a reduction. Yeah. So it collapses and it becomes a reduction. It is objective reduction, orchestrated objective reduction. It is. But I have a question to tomorrow. The guest is who is orchestrating this one?
Who?
Yeah, that is another question we have.
I'm pretty sure it's the eye.
Asking, so maybe automatically orchestrating this one it is a nature itself gives that thing to us. We don't know. Okay, we will talk about that.
Good question.
Collapse in the quantum state. That's what it does. So they found out recently the validation for this method. What is brain doing is they experimentally proved super radiance. All the brain, all the cells in the neurons are coordinating each other, and if when your thought is created, all the cells are coordinated each other and firing the same time. Who is coordinating? That is a funny thing. This coordinating coming is a quantum nature itself. That's a coordination of quantumness. So all the cells coordinate themselves and firing this thought process. This thought is coming out of the coordinated emission of light is a super radiance they call. That is happening there. That is a very complex. We don't have a good understanding of consciousness. We have a long way to go. We have a least understanding of brain itself. As I was tomorrow guest is a very good. You can shed some light on it. Why we have the Alzheimer's, dementia, all those things. You can talk about it.
Ramana, that emission of light. Have you seen the videos, the coordinated emission of light? Have you seen the videos at the very beginning of life when a sperm enters an egg, the blast of light, it's a flash of light.
Yeah, that's yeah,
Yeah,
the zinc, right? A zinc
yeah,
ions.
I believe so. But
Yeah,
it made me think of that because it's pretty miraculous.
yeah, that's something like that happens in the. So is a mystery in all of us. There's some mystery there, so we need to accept that as a mystery. Thanks for watching. That's all I have. So let me bring a boom. Yeah, tell me, what do you think?
Come on, you know I love this stuff. I think it's excellent, and now everyone's gonna have to stay tuned tomorrow to have that, the question answered. Who's orchestrating that? I was watching our guest. I was, as I was reading on our guest that was supposed to be here tonight, and she, in one of her, she actually did a TED talk, and in her TED talk, she had a patient that described the human body as the ultimate video game. It was like, who's running the game? Who's running the game? And to go from finite smell, touch, taste, hearing to quantum, in adding quantum abilities, collapsing that, it seems so hard. I mean, I love it. It seems like it was never going to be mainstream, and here we are talking about it
Yeah,
tonight.
I think eventually these are all things that medicine has to incorporate one way or other way, indirectly or directly. So, that cancer care in a briefcase that I was just talking about you about that, it
Hmm.
is a that care coordination came from a quantum principle for me. you know
Yes, yes.
so all these things you can borrow from the one of the things that we can borrow from quantum physics. I borrowed one area is, as you say, that you know in your system you're training people from all the floors. It doesn't matter they are in the physical medicine floor, they are in a sleep lab, or they are in a rehab lab, right? So they need to be trained. Wherever they are, you're training them there. You're taking the system there and train them. So you twist that into the quantum system. Quantum system is like it appears as it needed. Electrons appear, observer creates the reality, right? Observer is creating. So as a patient, when I need something, I need those procedures, I need the medications, I need that, rather than I create. I don't need to wait and go to the silo structure, go to the visit the temple of a hospital, temple of a sleep lab. You don't need all those things. You can deliver care at home. You can coordinate all this care with all this technology we have. Is whenever I think about I need something, it should appear for me. The care itself should work in that direction. Is a quantum physics principle works beautiful there, because when I need something, the observer needs something, it appears, right? Electrons, when I am looking for something, electron appears from a
So
wave, becomes a particle, right?
what I would suggest, if we're going to have order, or any type of order, that for care to land that way, we'll have to have an accumulation of thought, amongst far more people than you and I, tonight on our show, because it's going to be,
Yeah, yeah.
it, it
That-
might appear for you and I, but as the collective, if everyone is going to be, so stringent in the story of the 2D, 3D, 3D world, you do have to let go a little bit of this hard formulated facts, like this is a microphone and this is only a microphone, it's always going to be a microphone. So it's going to take a collective to loosen their grip on the 3D, to allow what
I'm
you're
on the
describing.
positive side. Powerful thoughts will propagate.
I agree.
Dumb things will die down right there in the next
Yes.
door, because it
Oh,
won't fly anywhere. They always die down,
who have
right?
you been talking to? Who have you been talking to?
So, so the always positive things propagate, much
Yes,
more better and faster. That
yes.
body has a capacity to go. So I strongly believe that it may take some time. The noise makers make a lot of noise. You can scream at the with the six beer bottles. You can scream all day, but really, what are the people who save lives? Or the people like you who are the frontline people who really make sense at the time. You're the saviors, not some guy drinking six pack and then screaming at the. He's not going to save anybody's life.
Uh,
So that is the people that come when there is a need. People like you save lives.
well,
um,
and people like you save lives by putting out such conversations like on consciousness that most people won't slow down long enough to listen to it because it just seems so complex when it's actually quite simple. But
it's quite simple.
that's what you and I are doing, Ramana. That's why we do this show, period. We invite on amazing people doing amazing things, and we really try to expand people's minds so that they can understand. I mean, just the simplest complex of, a particle and wave. That's it's tough. It's tough for the brain to get a hold of, but our audience is savvy.
Yeah,
and we are sharing the concept. So I can't wait for you to share more about your new formula, because it's truly groundbreaking and brilliant. And I
yeah.
think it will
You
revolutionize thought.
Yeah, that I'm going to explain that formula a little bit in general without. So what it does is this kind of strange. We don't have a human moral boundaries. Where are these healthcare? It's very simple. Why it costs so much money? It doesn't make any sense. You said that you don't need to save a life. You don't need a sophisticated equipment. You need a pedals, or you need even the just simple keeping hands and then mind. Right? So it's a lot of times we made it complicated, and then it's a lot of people involved with the greed and all these things in the care system. It is just a headless chicken. It is when you do not have a non-negotiating principles, it goes haywire. That's what it's doing. There is no non-negotiating principles here. There is no philosophy there. You just whatever, whoever comes there, put a patch there. Whoever comes there, put a patch there. So that's why we have a million apps, million algorithms. No, they conflict each other. They don't talk each other. All kinds of nonsense in the EMRs and the electro. These are all so many things. It does not entertain at the end of the day how the patient's suffering is. How do you reduce the suffering? That is a key. That is principle is gone. That principle is not even existing in the anywhere. How do you reduce the suffering?
Well, and I think what you'll do over time as we teach our audience more about what you're doing is continuously bringing it back around to when we're saying non-negotiable. I mean, what does that mean? It means there's non-negotiables in this world, and they come from nature.
Yeah,
There's non-negotiables in nature, and somehow us as man, and in the walls of our buildings, and in our science, our science and our world, we fight so hard to define science, and the beauty is almost all of it goes back to nature. And I think we kind of get far away from that. Now what are we even defining? We got to go back to the very beginning at what was found. Like, you continuously bring up the history of some of the most amazing scientists and mathematicians from the beginning of time, and they were solving these formulas and creating formulas of all of our basic knowledge of science so many years ago without any of this high-tech stuff. And yet here we are now going back there
yeah,
to figure out what's happening today.
yeah. The formula that it from an 1800, actually, the formula I used
Yeah,
from
that's what I mean.
1800. It's a thermodynamic principle. So it is certain things we need to learn from the sages. Then when you are in crisis, you need to go to sages. That's wisdom, and people like a Greek philosopher Plato and Aristotle and all those people that with the saints. We have to go and learn from them wisdom. It's unbelievable. That is a timeless and ageless wisdom. That is. Uh, Thank you for joining today. It's stay a couple of minutes after the talk, and then it's getting over now. And thank you so much. Sorry, Kamala. I hope you join next time. And
Yeah, no, I look
Susan
forward
is
to.
truly excited about you to coming back. So
Yeah,
I hope you come
she's a
back.
rock
She's
star.
actually from back of my word. She knows this today's function. She is from my area, that area of my
Is she
my
too?
village. You know that we're on the same area.
Well,
So,
I hope she's safe, and I look forward to meeting her next time.
so happy Sankranti for all of the people in India. Celebrations going on. Thank
Have
you
some curry
all.
for me. Have some
Hey,
curry for me.
happy curry for you. Okay, good night, all of you. Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it